Long before the first ships from Europe sailed to the shores of Aotearoa, Maori had their own special ways of trading. There were no metal coins, no clinking pennies or shiny pounds. Instead, people traded things that were useful, beautiful, or rare. Imagine wanting a finely woven cloak, a korawai, decorated with colorful feathers. You couldn't just buy it with money. You would have to offer something of equal value in return. This system of swapping goods and services is called bartering, and it was the heart of the Maori economy. People knew the worth of everything, from a basket of sweet kumara to a sharp adze for carving wood. The most precious items, the ones considered taonga or treasures, were used for the most important trades. Punamu, or greenstone, was incredibly valuable. This beautiful, tough stone was found only in certain parts of the South Island, Te Wai Punamu. It was expertly carved into tools, weapons like the sharp-edged mere, and beautiful ornaments like the hei tiki. A piece of Punamu was not just a rock, it held stories, ancestors, and great mana or prestige. Trading a significant Punamu piece was a very serious event, often sealing a peace agreement between iwi, or tribes, or forming a strong alliance. Other valuable items were also part of this trading world. The stunning white feathers of the kutuku, or white heron, were highly prized for decorating cloaks and hair. The teeth of the sperm whale, known as rei puta, were carved into striking pendants worn by chiefs. Even useful things like obsidian, a black volcanic glass from Tuhua, or Mare Island, was traded far and wide because it could be flaked, to create incredibly sharp cutting tools. Each region had its own special resources, and trade routes crisscrossed the land and sea, connecting communities through the exchange of these treasured goods. This system of trade was based on relationships and trust. It wasn't just about getting what you wanted, it was about building connections with other people and communities. The value of an item wasn't just in what it was made of, but in the skill of the person who made it, the stories it carried, and the purpose it would serve. This world of barter, filled with taonga and practical goods, was the first economy of New Zealand. It was a system rich in culture and meaning, long before the first metal coin ever landed on its shores. When the first European sailing ships arrived, from whalers and sealers to traders and missionaries, they brought something new with them: metal coins. Suddenly, the people of Aotearoa saw gold, silver, and copper money for the first time. The sailors and settlers came from many different countries, and so did their money. A person's pocket might be filled with a confusing jumble of coins from all over the world. There were heavy British pennies, silver Spanish dollars, shiny French francs, Dutch guilders, and even coins from as far away as India and America. It was a real mixed bag of money. For Maori, these new metal objects were curious and interesting. At first, they were valued more for being shiny and new than for their buying power. Coins were sometimes drilled with holes and worn as pendants or earrings, becoming a new kind of decoration. But as more settlers arrived and set up shops, Maori quickly learned that these metal discs could be exchanged for exciting new goods. You could trade coins for things like iron tools, woolen blankets, sugar, and muskets. The old barter system started to change as this new idea of money began to take hold across the country. This period was very confusing for trade. Imagine trying to buy something from a shopkeeper. You might offer a French coin, but the shopkeeper might only want to accept British money. Or perhaps a Spanish dollar was worth 8 British shillings, but another trader might only give you 7. There were no official rules, and the value of each coin could change from town to town, or even from person to person. It made doing business very difficult for everyone. Many shopkeepers even made their own metal tokens to use as change in their stores because proper coins were so scarce. The chaos of having so many different currencies couldn't last forever. As New Zealand grew, and more British people settled here, the need for a single, reliable type of money became obvious. People wanted a system they could trust, where a penny was always a penny, and a pound was always a pound, no matter where you were in the country. The jumble of international coins had helped introduce the idea of money, but it was time for something more organized. The stage was set for New Zealand to officially adopt a currency of its own, tied to the powerful British Empire. As New Zealand became a British colony in 1840, it was natural that British money would become the official currency. The confusing mix of coins from around the world slowly began to disappear from daily life, replaced by the familiar pounds, shillings, and pence of Great Britain. Now, everyone used the same money. There were big, heavy copper pennies with the monarch's head on one side. There were small, silver 3-pence coins, 6pences, shillings, florins, worth 2 shillings, and half-crowns. The system was a bit complicated for modern minds. 12 pence made a shilling, and 20 shillings made a pound. For nearly 100 years, if you looked at the coins in your pocket in New Zealand, you would see the story of a distant kingdom. The coins featured the portraits of British kings and queens, like Queen Victoria, King Edward VII, and King George V. On the other side, you would find symbols of Britain, such as Britannia with her trident and shield, or the royal coat of arms with its lion and unicorn. There was nothing on the coins to say New Zealand. They were exactly the same as the coins being used on the streets of London, Manchester, or Glasgow. While this made trade with Britain and other parts of the empire much easier, it also meant that New Zealand didn't have its own monetary identity. The money in people's pockets didn't reflect the unique culture, plants, or animals of Aotearoa. A child spending a penny to buy sweets was looking at a symbol of a faraway land, not a kiwi or a fern. This lack of a local identity started to feel strange as New Zealand began to see itself as more than just a distant part of the British Empire. People began to feel a sense of national pride and wanted to see that reflected in their daily lives. The idea of having our very own coins began to grow, especially in the early 20th century. Australia, our closest neighbor, had already introduced its own coins in 1910, featuring Australian animals and symbols alongside the British monarch. This made many New Zealanders wonder, why couldn't we do the same? The desire for our own currency was about more than just money. It was about showing the world and ourselves that New Zealand was a proud and independent nation with its own unique story to tell. The time for change was coming. The big moment finally arrived in 1933. After years of discussion and planning, New Zealand issued its very own coins for the first time. This was a huge step for the nation. While the coins were still based on the British system of pounds, shillings, and pence, and still featured the British monarch, King George V, on one side. The other side, the reverse, was brand new. This was New Zealand's chance to show off its identity. A competition was held to find the best designs, and the chosen images became instant classics, celebrating the unique culture and nature of Aotearoa. The new coins were a beautiful gallery of Kiwi symbols. The threepence featured two crossed patu, Maori weapons, showing the importance of Maori culture. The sixpence displayed a huia, a beautiful bird with a distinctive beak that was sadly already extinct, reminding people of the country's precious and fragile wildlife. The shilling showcased a proud Maori warrior, or rangatira, in a dynamic crouching stance, holding a taiaha. The florin, 2 shillings, was given to our most famous bird, the flightless kiwi, sniffing the ground among ferns, and the half-crown featured the New Zealand coat of arms. These designs were revolutionary. For the first time, the money that people used every day told a New Zealand story. It was a story that included both Maori heritage and the country's unique natural environment. The artist, George Kruger Gray, did a wonderful job of capturing these symbols in a way that was both artistic and clear. People were incredibly proud of their new coins. They were a tangible symbol of nationhood, a small piece of art in every pocket that said, "This is us. This is New Zealand." It helped to shape a growing sense of national identity, separate from Great Britain. The introduction of these coins was not just a symbolic act, it also had practical reasons. During the Great Depression of the 1930s, the value of silver had risen, and people were melting down British silver coins because the metal was worth more than the coin's face value. Creating our own coins with a lower silver content helped solve this problem. The new coins were still beautiful and had a silver look, but they were more affordable for the government to produce. This clever move meant New Zealand now had a currency that was not only meaningful, but also practical for the times. Just a few years after New Zealand celebrated its first national coins, the world was thrown into the chaos of the Second World War. From 1939 to 1945, the war affected every part of life, and coin production was no exception. The metals used to make coins, like copper and nickel, were suddenly in high demand for making weapons, ships, and ammunition. This meant the Royal Mint in London, which made New Zealand's coins, had to find different, cheaper metals to use. It was a time of making do and finding clever solutions to shortages. As a result, some of New Zealand's coins had to change their composition. For example, the large bronze penny and halfpenny, which had been made since 1940 with New Zealand designs, a tuā and a hei tiki, were made with a different mix of metals to save copper. More significantly, a decision was made to change the silver coins. The threepence, sixpence, shilling, florin and half-crown had been made with 50% silver. During and after the war, the cost of silver skyrocketed, and it became far too expensive to keep using it for circulating coins. A big change was needed. The year 1947 marked a major turning point. New Zealand said goodbye to silver in its everyday coins. From that year onwards, all the coins that had previously been silver were instead made from a new alloy called cupro-nickel. This is a mix of copper and nickel that has a silvery appearance but contains no actual silver. The coins looked similar in size and design, but they felt a little different and didn't have the same bright shine as the old ones. People who'd saved the old silver coins suddenly found they had something of special value, not just for the money they represented, but for the precious metal they contained. This change was a practical necessity, but it also marked the end of an era. For thousands of years, silver had been a key part of money around the world. The shift to cupro-nickel was a sign of a more modern, industrial world, where a coin's value was guaranteed by the government, not by the precious metal it was made from. The designs remained the same, with the kiwi, the Maori warrior, and the huia still jingling in people's pockets. But the substance of the coins had changed forever, a quiet yet significant consequence of a world recovering from war. For decades, New Zealanders had counted their money in pounds, shillings, and pence. It was a complex system that required a lot of mental arithmetic. You had to remember that 12 pence made a shilling, and 20 shillings made a pound. Adding up prices or giving change could be tricky, especially for children learning maths at school. By the 1960s, many countries around the world had moved to a simpler decimal system, where money was based on units of 10 and 100. New Zealand decided it was time to join them and make life easier for everyone. The government planned the changeover carefully, and on Monday, the 10th of July 1967, New Zealand officially switched to decimal currency. The old pounds, shillings, and pence were gone, and in their place came new dollars and cents. 1 old pound became 2 new dollars. 1 old shilling became 10 new cents. To help everyone understand the change, there was a huge advertising campaign. A cartoon character called Mr. Dollar appeared on television and in newspapers, singing a catchy jingle to explain how the new system worked. The whole country was buzzing with excitement for Decimalization Day. With new money came brand new coins. While the Queen's portrait remained on the front, the reverse sides were completely redesigned to reflect modern New Zealand. The new coins were the 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, and 50-cent pieces. The designs created by artist James Barry celebrated New Zealand's unique nature. The 1-cent coin featured a fern leaf, the 2-cent had kauai flowers, the 5-cent showed a tuatara on a rock, the 10-cent had a Maori koruru, or carved mask, the 20-cent had a kiwi, and the 50-cent piece featured Captain Cook's ship, the Endeavour. The new coins were an instant success. They were lighter and more modern than the old ones, and the designs were celebrated for their beauty and relevance. The 10-cent coin, with its koruru design, was particularly important as it continued the tradition of representing Maori culture on our currency. The introduction of decimal currency was a smooth and successful transition. It simplified daily life, made calculations easier, and gave New Zealand a fresh, modern set of coins that perfectly captured the spirit of the nation in the 1960s, a country looking forward to the future. The decimal coins introduced in 1967 served New Zealand well for many years. However, by the 1980s it was clear that some changes were needed. The original 1 and 2 cent coins were becoming a problem. These small bronze coins were tiny and fiddly. More importantly, inflation had made them almost worthless. The cost of the metal and the process of making them was actually more than 1 or 2 cents. You couldn't buy anything with a single 1-cent coin. They mostly just filled up people's jars and drawers at home. So, in 1989, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand decided to stop making the 1 and 2 cent coins. They were officially withdrawn from circulation. This meant that prices in shops had to be rounded to the nearest 5 cents if you were paying with cash. This system, known as Swedish rounding, was quickly and easily adopted by everyone. At the same time, a new chapter in our coin history began with the introduction of the first $1 coin in 1990, followed by a $2 coin in 1991. These larger, golden-colored coins were made to replace the $1 and $2 paper notes which wore out too quickly. The new dollar coins were made from an aluminium-bronze alloy, giving them their distinctive golden color. The $1 coin featured our national bird, the kiwi, a design that had been on the 20-cent coin for years. The $2 coin introduced a new bird to our currency, the kutuku, or white heron. This elegant bird is very rare in New Zealand and holds great significance in Maori culture, symbolizing something beautiful and treasured. These new, heavier coins felt substantial and durable, and they quickly became a familiar part of our daily lives. More big changes came in 2006. The old 5, 10, 20, and 50-cent coins had been the same size and weight since 1967. They were now considered too big and heavy for modern needs. So, the Reserve Bank introduced a whole new set of smaller, lighter coins. The old 5-cent coin was removed from circulation completely, and the 10, 20, and 50-cent coins were replaced with smaller, steel-plated versions that were lighter and cheaper to make. The designs remained the same, but the 20-cent coin was given a distinctive Spanish flower shape to help people tell it apart by feel. This modernization made our coins more convenient and cost-effective. Have you ever wondered how the coins in your pocket are actually made? It's a fascinating and highly precise process. New Zealand's coins are not made in New Zealand. Instead, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand contracts mints in other countries, such as the Royal Canadian Mint, or the Royal Mint, in Great Britain, to produce them. The process starts with a design. Artists create detailed drawings for the coin, which must be approved. These drawings are then used to create a three-dimensional digital model, which is then engraved by a machine onto a steel tool called a die. The metal for the coins arrives at the mint in huge rolls. For our current coins, this is a special type of steel. The steel is plated with layers of other metals, like copper and nickel, to give it the right color and to protect it from rusting. Long strips are cut from these rolls and fed into a machine called a blanking press. This machine acts like a powerful cookie cutter, punching out thousands of round, plain metal discs called blanks. At this stage, they don't look like coins at all. They are just smooth, featureless pieces of metal. Next, the blanks are heated in a furnace to soften them, a process called annealing. They are then washed and polished in giant, rumbling drums filled with chemicals and small ceramic beads, which makes them clean and shiny. Now they are ready for the most important step: striking. The shiny blanks are fed one by one into a coining press. Inside the press, each blank is held in place by a collar which creates the rim. Then, with immense force, the two dies, one for the head side, the Queen's portrait, and one for the tails side, the design, strike the blank simultaneously. In that split second, the design is forcefully stamped onto both sides of the blank, transforming it into a recognizable coin. The force is so great that a single die can strike hundreds of thousands of coins before it wears out and needs to be replaced. After being struck, the newly minted coins are carefully inspected by machines and by eye to check for any imperfections. Any faulty coins are rejected and melted down. The perfect coins are then counted by machine and sealed into bags or rolls, ready to be shipped to New Zealand and distributed to banks, beginning their long journey into our shops, pockets, and piggy banks. Beyond the coins we use every day, New Zealand also produces special coins for collectors and to remember important events. These are called commemorative or collector coins. They are not usually meant to be spent in shops. Instead, they are miniature works of art that celebrate our history, culture, and achievements. These coins are often made from precious metals like pure silver or gold and come in special presentation cases. They might feature stunning, colorful designs, unique shapes, or intricate details that would not be possible on a regular coin. Over the years, New Zealand has issued collector coins to mark all sorts of occasions. There have been coins celebrating royal visits, famous New Zealanders, sporting victories, and anniversaries of historical events. One of the most popular series of collector coins has been the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit-themed coins, which became a global phenomenon. These coins allow the mints to be creative, using new technology to print vibrant colors directly onto the metal, bringing characters and scenes to life. They are a way of telling stories and creating beautiful keepsakes that can be passed down through generations. Today, however, we are using physical cash less and less. Think about how your family pays for things. Often, it's with a tap of an EFT POS card, a credit card, or even a phone. This move towards a cashless society raises big questions about the future of coins. Will we even need them in 10 or 20 years? Central banks around the world, including in New Zealand, are exploring the idea of digital currencies. This would be like the dollars and cents we have now, but it would exist only in a digital form, on computers and phones, issued and guaranteed by the government. The story of New Zealand's coins is a journey that mirrors the story of our country. It began with the trade of precious taonga like punamu, moved through a jumble of foreign currencies, and embraced the symbols of the British Empire. Then, with great pride, we created our own coins, showcasing our unique Maori culture and natural wonders. Our money has changed with the times, through war, decimalization, and modernization. Whether our future is one of shiny metal discs or digital signals, the evolution of our money will always provide a fascinating reflection of who we are as a nation.